The mining colony of Theta 7 had been under siege for 14 days when the last communication array finally died. Director Vale watched the static fill the main screen. Knowing that their distress signals would no longer reach beyond the asteroid belt that surrounded their small outpost. The attacking fleet of Krex raiders had methodically destroyed every means of long-range communication, leaving the 300 colonists trapped and alone. Vale turned away from the dead screen and surveyed the makeshift command center they had established in the deepest section of the mining complex. Engineers and administrators huddled around flickering displays, their faces drawn with exhaustion and fear. The Krex had been content to maintain their blockade, slowly wearing down the colony's defenses rather than risk a costly direct assault. They knew time was on their side. How long can the shields hold? Vale asked Chief Engineer Brooks, who had been working without sleep for the past 48 hours. Brooks rubbed his weathered face and checked his tablet. Maybe 6 more hours. At current drain rates, the Krex keep probing our weak spots, forcing us to reinforce different sections. It's bleeding our power reserves dry. Lieutenant Kane, the colony's security chief, approached with the latest casualty report. We lost another patrol team trying to reach the outer sensor array. The Krex have landed ground forces on sectors 4 and 7. They're not in any hurry, just slowly tightening the noose. Vale nodded grimly. Theta 7 was a remote mining operation, far from the major shipping lanes and military patrol routes. Even if their distress signals had reached friendly forces, help would take weeks to arrive. The Krex knew this, which was why they had chosen to attack this particular target. The colony's titanium deposits were valuable, but more importantly, it was isolated and defenseless. The director walked to the main tactical display, studying the positions of the Krex vessels surrounding their asteroid. 12 ships formed a loose sphere around Theta 7, their weapons trained on any escape routes. Each vessel was larger and better armed than anything the colony possessed. The raiders had spent years perfecting this strategy, targeting remote settlements and slowly consuming them like parasites. "Sir," called Technician Park from her station, "I'm picking up some kind of energy signature on the long-range sensors. It's faint, but there's definitely something out there." Brooks hurried over to check the readings. Could be debris from one of their supply ships. The Krex had been rotating their fleet every few days to stay fresh. Vale felt a flicker of hope, quickly suppressed by experience. More likely it's reinforcements. The Krex probably called in additional ships to help with the final assault. The energy signature grew stronger over the next hour, but its location remained puzzling. Whatever was approaching wasn't following any of the standard hyperspace routes. It seemed to be coming from the deep void between star systems, an area where no rational pilot would travel due to navigation hazards and the risk of getting lost in empty space. "Sir, you need to see this," Park said, her voice tight with excitement. The signature just became clear enough for identification. "It's not Krex." Vale rushed to her station, studying the sensor data that scrolled across her screen. The approaching vessel was massive, easily 3 times the size of the largest Krex raider. Its energy profile was unlike anything in their recognition database, and it was moving at speeds that should have been impossible for something so large. Could it be one of the major powers? Kane asked. Maybe the Federation or the Alliance finally got our distress call. Brooks shook his head. The signature doesn't match any known drive system. Whatever that thing is, it's using technology I've never seen before. The mystery ship continued its approach, and the Krex fleet began to react. Their vessels moved from their siege positions into a defensive formation, clearly as puzzled and concerned as the colonists. Long-range communications. Chatter between the raiders increased dramatically as they tried to identify the newcomer. "It's dropping out of hyperspace," Park announced. distance 12 million kilometers and closing. The main display flickered to life as their remaining sensors locked onto the approaching vessel. What they saw defied immediate comprehension. The ship was a dark, angular mass that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Strange energy patterns danced along its hull, and weapons ports were visible across its entire surface. Most unsettling of all, it bore no markings or identifications of any kind. "My God," whispered Brooks. "Look at the size of that thing." The alien warship dwarfed even the largest vessels in the Krek's fleet. As it approached, it began broadcasting on multiple frequencies, cycling through various languages and communication protocols. When it finally reached Standard Galactic Common, the voice that emerged from the speakers was calm and measured. "This is Captain Davis of the human warship Defiance. We received your distress signal and have come to render assistance. All hostile. Vessels are advised to withdraw immediately or face the consequences." A stunned silence filled the command center. Humans were known throughout the galaxy, but they were considered a minor species, confined to a small cluster of systems on the galactic rim. Their technology was thought to be decades behind the major powers, and their military was generally dismissed as insignificant. The Krek's fleet commander apparently shared this assessment. His response came swiftly and with obvious contempt. "Unknown vessel, you are interfering with a legitimate salvage operation. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed." Captain Davis's reply was equally swift and far more final. "Negative. Withdraw your forces now, or we will remove them." The Krek's commander launched his entire fleet at the human ship, apparently confident that 12 vessels could overwhelm any single opponent. The colonists watched in fascination as the raiders accelerated toward their target, weapons charging and missiles, launching in a coordinated assault. What happened next shattered every assumption about human military capability. The Defiance didn't dodge or maneuver defensively. Instead, it accelerated directly toward the attacking fleet, its strange weapon systems coming online with a distinctive harmonic hum that somehow penetrated even the vacuum of space. Beams of coherent energy reached out from the human warship, each one precisely targeted and devastatingly effective. Krek's vessels simply vanished, their shields and armor offering no protection against weapons that seemed to ignore conventional physics. Within minutes, the entire raider fleet had been reduced to expanding clouds of debris and plasma. The Defiance settled into orbit around Theta 7, its presence both comforting and deeply unsettling. Captain Davis's voice filled the command center once again, carrying a warmth that hadn't been present during his exchange with the Kreks. "Colony Theta 7, this is Defiance. Medical and engineering teams are standing by to assist with repairs and casualties. We'll maintain position until you're fully operational again." Vale found his voice after several attempts. "Captain Davis, we are in your debt. But I have to ask, how did you get here so quickly? Our distress call only went out 2 weeks ago." There was a pause before Davis replied, and when he spoke, there was something in his tone that sent chills down Vale's spine. "We've been watching, Director. Humanity has been watching for quite some time. We're tired of seeing innocent people suffer while bullies like the Kreks prey on the defenseless." The implications were staggering. If humans had technology this advanced, and if they had been observing galactic affairs without revealing themselves, then everything the galaxy thought it knew about humanity was wrong. The quiet species from the rim had been hiding capabilities that dwarfed the major powers. "The galaxy is about to change," Davis continued. "The days of the strong preying on the weak are coming to an end. Humanity will not stand by and watch anymore." As rescue shuttles began launching from the Defiance, Vale realized that the colonists of Theta 7 had witnessed something far more significant than their own rescue. They had seen the moment when humanity stepped out of the shadows and announced, its presence as a major galactic power. The age of human intervention had begun, and nothing would ever be the same.